Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello Miss Beta, we are from Group 2 and we are going to present the result of our discussion regarding recount text analysis. Before that, let us introduce ourselves. Next. From Statistik A21, there are Agnes Monica Puspitaning Tias, Aulia Putri Rahmansyah, Guntur Adiwardana, Statistika Skarwintang, Fatah Pradipta Kumara, and Nita Destriani. And from B60, there is Auliatul Ustiah. Next.
First of all, we have introduction. Context, note that the introduction is in from first sentence of the fourth sentence. Percy Adam lived in a good neighborhood. We had many friends there. Percy woke up one morning and took a long stretch. He had night and was very rested. For example, we have Percy Adam as the main character, and then we have in the morning the time of the story, where we have Percy's neighborhood as the place where the story took place, and Bob, we have Percy visited his friend to play with, as what happened on the story. Next.
And the next structure is events. Events is a series of activities that are told in sequence and indicated by sequence conjunction. In this text, it is located in paragraph 2, which contains: first, he walked in the kitchen and ate a good breakfast. He waited at the door for someone to open it and let him out. He had things to do. Percy outside and looked around. Everything seemed fine. Then he went and checked on his friend, Al the dog. Al was still sleeping and didn't want to go with Percy. Percy walked across the yard and visited the mother bird and her babies. They were fine and were eating some worm for breakfast. They didn't even look at Percy. They were busy. Percy walked across the street and visited his friend Hoopa. Hoopa was outside, stretched out in the sun. Hoopa was glad to see Percy. They were great friends. Hoopa said hello to Percy with a great big meow. Percy gave a meow right back. Percy and Hoopa played and played. They visited their other friends in the neighborhood, and it was time to go home. The next.
Okay, then I will show you the verb 1 of the following verbs in the events. The verb 1 of walk is walk, verb 1 of ate is eat, verb 1 of waited is wait, verb 1 of looked is look, verb 1 of seemed is seem, verb 1 of went is go, verb 1 of checked is check, verb 1 of visited is visit, verb 1 of stretched is stretch, verb 1 of said is say, and verb 1 of played is play. Next. The last generic structure is reorientation, which is the closure of events, and this part is optional. The reorientation of this text is: they were tired and it was a good time to take a nap. From this sentence, we can conclude that this text has a happy ending. Next.
And then the first language feature of recount text is simple past. As we know, we use the simple past to talk about an action or situation in the past. And according to the text, there are many of simple past. In the first paragraph, Percy Adam lived in the great neighborhood. Lived is a past simple tense. And then Percy woke up one morning and took a long stretch. Woke up is a simple past tense. and then he walked in the kitchen and ate a good breakfast. Walk is a past simple and ate is a past simple too. Uh, in here, I was highlighted with a yellow for the simple past.
Besides simple past tense, the text also contains past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is used to describe action that began in the past and often continued for a short period after the action start. In the text, there are two sentences containing past continuous tense. In sentence 12, I was still sleeping, and in sentence 14, they were eating some worm for breakfast. Next. And then there is a temporal sequence in the text with a yellow highlight. There is one morning in the sentence 3. Percy woke and took a long stretch. Next.
Okay. Then I will show conjunction in the text. There are several conjunctions in paragraph. There is a conjunction of the word and, which is in the sentence. Percy woke up on morning and took a long trip. Percy outside and looked around, etc. And its coordinating conjunction to show two similar clauses or points are made. There is a conjunction of the word for, which is in the sentence. They were fine and were eating some worm for breakfast. For is coordinating conjunction to explain the why in situation. There is a conjunction of the word first and then, which is in the sentence. First, he walked in the kitchen and ate a good breakfast. Then, he went and checked on his friend. First and then is sequential action to talk about action or situation that take place sequentially. Thank you. Next.
Okay, the next analysis is the action verb. There are many action verbs in the text. The action verb of the text is live, woke up, took, rest, rested, walk, waited, ate, open, look, went, check, sleeping, go, visited, eating, look, stretch, sit, played, and nap. Next. This is the last analysis from the text. It is specific person. There is only one specific person in the text, and the specific person is Percy Adams.
Okay, that's all for our presentation about recontext analysis. Thank you for your attention and hope you enjoy our video.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's very nice to see you here today. So today, me and my team, Group 1, gonna present to you about how to analyze a recount text. The purpose of today's presentation is to discuss how we can analyze a recount text. Now let me begin by introducing the member of my team. The first one is me. My name is Arya Putra Nugraha with student number M0721009.
My name is Alia Nabila Putri with student index number M0721005.
My name is Aprilia Sanata Rahmawati with student number M0721007.
My name is Wisudaneti Rahmawati. My student number M07211029.
My name is Matian Yasari. My student number M0721 043.
My name is Revina Rianti. My name M0721 059.
My name is Shiva Sabila Kita Paraita with number M072106.
Okay, now let me begin by telling you about the definition about a recount text. A recount text is a text which retells events or experience in the past. Its purpose is either to inform or to entertain the readers. There are three structures in this recount text. The first one is orientation. It gives the readers the background information needed to understand the text, such as who was involved, where it happened, and when it happened. The second one is event. It gives the readers information about the sequence of events that took place in the order that they happened. And the last one is reorientation. Reorientation is a personal comment about the event or tells about what happened in the end. So now let's analyze the text. First of all, I will read the text. Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach. It was a beautiful summer day. Becky had built a giant sandcastle that morning. Aunt Agatha took pictures of that castle to send to Becky's parents. It was a great big sandcastle. Later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. It was fun to jump with the waves. Then, they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch.
Becky wants to play on the beach the afternoon. Aunt Agatha told her it was too hot to go outside without a hat on. Becky didn't have a hat. Aunt Agatha told her not to worry. She could wear one of hers. Becky tried on 4 hats. The pink one was really pretty, but it had a big bow in the back that was too long for Becky. The green hat was too fancy for Becky. She did not like that hat at all. The blue hat was nice, but it had an ugly bird on it. Then Becky saw a big brown hat with a yellow ribbon on it. That hat was made of straw. It was a perfect hat for the beach. It was too big for Becky's head, but she didn't care. It was a great hat.
The orientation of the text is Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach. It was a beautiful summer day. The sentences are orientation because the sentences contains the answers of the questions that are: who did Becky visit? Becky visited Aunt Agatha. Where did Becky visit Aunt Agatha? Becky visited Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach. When did Becky visit Aunt Agatha's house? Becky visited Aunt Agatha's house in summer day.
The next structure is even. From this text, the even is start from the third sentence. Becky had built a giant sandcastle that morning, and Agatha took pictures of the castle to send to Becky's parents. It was a great big sandcastle. Later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. It was fun to jump with the waves. Then, they went in the house and ate sandwiches and strawberries for lunch. Becky wanted to play on the beach that afternoon. Aunt Agatha told her it was too hot to go outside without a hat on. Becky didn't have a hat. Aunt Agatha told her not to worry, she could wear one of hers. Becky tried on 4 hats. The pink one was really pretty, but it had a big bow in the back that was too long for Becky. The green hat was too fancy for Becky. She didn't like that hat at all. The blue hat was nice, but it had an ugly bird on it. Then Becky saw a big brown hat with a yellow ribbon on it. That hat was made of straw.
The next structure is reorientation. The orientation is it was a perfect hat for the beach. It was too big for Becky's head, but she didn't care. It was a great hat. What happened in the end? So, in the ending was a happy ending because Becky found the perfect hat even though it was too big for her.
The language features first action goals. Number 1. Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach. Visiting is action clause. Number 2. Becky helped build a giant sandcastle that morning. Aunt Agatha took pictures of the castle to send Becky's parents. Build is action clause. Number 3. Later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. Went is action clause. Number 4. Then they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch. Went and ate are action clause. Number 5. Becky wants to play on the beach that afternoon. Play is action clause. Number 6. Aunt Agatha told her not to worry, she could wear one of hers. Wear is action clause. Number 7. Becky tried on 4 hats. Tried is action clause.
Temporal sequence. From the analysis of the text above, there are 3 temporal sequences. 1. Later that morning. Sentence. Later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. 2. Then, on the sentence, then they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch. 3. Then, on the sentence, then Becky saw a big brown hat with a yellow ribbon on it.
Next, about conjunction. Number 1 is later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. The conjunction is and. Number 2, Becky had built a giant sandcastle that morning. It was subordinate conjunction. Number 3, the pink one was really pretty, but it had a big bow in the back that was too long for Becky. The conjunction is but. Number 4, later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. Subordinate conjunction. The conjunction is that. Number 5,
Later that morning, Becky and Agatha went swimming in the ocean. The conjunction is that. Number 2, it was joined with the waves. The conjunction is but. Next.
The next language feature is past verbs, and in this text there are 9 past verbs, and the first one is build from build, took from take, went from go, ate from eat, wanted from want, told from tell, tried from try, saw from see, and made from make. And the last language feature is past tense. The first one is later that morning, Becky and Agatha went swimming in the ocean. The key is when. The second one is then they went in the house and ate sandwiches and strawberries for lunch. The key is when and at. And the last is Agatha told her not to worry, she could wear one of hers. The key is told.
Okay, I think that's enough from our group. Thank you very much.
Greetings, Miss Vitalia and friends. I hope you all have a good day. We are from Group 3. Will present our discussion and understanding on how to analyze a recount text. Let's get to it. But first, let me introduce you to our member. First is myself, Dionysius Indra Raditya dengan NIM M07211012. Ian aku kita dengan NIM M07211023. Jennifer Elizabeth Singara dengan M07211025. Rizky Ramadhani dengan NIM M07211061. Sari Septianintias dengan NIM M07211063. Dan the last one is Zahra Rumansyah dengan NIM M07211067. This is what we are going to talk about. The first one is the general structure of recount text. The second one is purpose of the text. We also add additional information regarding the particular text that we cover. The big picture, which is what's happening in the text, past tense, adverb, conjunction, action verbs, and adjectives. Now we will come to the general structure of the text. Let me read it for you. Orientation. Gerald loved their play. He had the best time each day in Miss Harold's room. First, they did reading each morning. Gerald loved that class. They would read stories out of their reading books. Some of them were plays, and they all took turns acting out the story. They could work in their workbooks. That was fun too. But there was one big problem in the textbook. They had to multiply in math. Now, if I condense, Gerald did not want to spend time each day studying the multiplication fact. We say the multiplication fact in class. His parents call out multiplication fact at home. This was no fun for Gerald. He liked to add and subtract. He just hated learning the multiplication fact. Then, one morning, Miss Harold came into the classroom. She was holding a tape, recorder, microphone, and headset. She told Gerald he was in charge of the lesson that day. Everyone was going to be recording the multiplication fact. Gerald loved this. It was just like being a star holding that microphone. He held it so everyone could be heard. Miss Harold told Gerald to make sure he told the class to go home and study because they would record the lesson again the next day. The orientation, Gerald went home and learned each and every fact. He wanted to make sure he could answer each one the next day. Multiplication was great fun. Now, what is the purpose of the recount text? Recount texts are written to retell events with the purpose of either informing or entertaining their audience, or both. To put it simply, the purpose of the recount text is to retell past experience. In this case, it is used to tell and inform the reader about Gerald's experience in his third grade, how he had the best time in Mrs. Harold's room, how he hated to study multiplication facts, and how he was able to overcome his unwillingness to study multiplication. Now, what is the big picture of the story? To understand or summarize the big picture of the story, we can take a look at the orientation. In here, we will know who is the character, when it happened, where it happened, and what happened. Who is Gerald? When is when he was in third grade? Where is Miss Harold's rooms? What? There was one big problem in the third grade, which is they had to multiply in math. Now we are coming to the past tense, which will be specific with my friends.
Hello, my name is Statistika and I will continue the presentation about past tense. Past tense is a verb tense used for a past activity or a past state of being. We usually use the past tense on the recount text. Next, in the orientation, Gerald loved the grade. We have loved. He had the best time each day in Miss Harold's room. They have had. First, they did reading each morning. We have did. Gerald loved that class. We have loved. They read great stories out of their reading books. We have read. Some of them were plays and they all took turns acting out the story. We have were and took. They could work in their workbooks. We have could. That was fun too. We have was. They had multiplied in math. We have had. In the events, Gerald did not want to spend time each day studying the multiplication facts. We have did not. They said the multiplication facts in class. We have said. His parents called out multiplication facts at home. We have called. This was no fun for Gerald. We have was. He liked to add and subtract. We have liked. He just hate learning the multiplication facts. We have hate. Then one morning, Miss Harold came into the classroom. We have came. She was holding a tape recorder, microphone, and a headset. We have was. She told Gerald he was in charge of the listening that day. We have told and was. Gerald loved this. We have loved. It was just like being a star holding that microphone. We have was. He held it all. Everyone could be here. We have held, hold, and heard. Miss Harold told Gerald to make sure he told the class to go home and study because they would record the lesson again the next day. We have told and would. In the reorientation, we have Gerald went home and learned each and every fact. We have went and learned. He wanted to make sure he could answer each one the next day. We have want and could. Multiplication was grateful. We have was. So in this time, I will change the verb 2 to verb 1. Verb 2 loved, verb 1 love, verb 2 had, verb 1 have, verb 2 did, verb 1 do, verb 2 read, verb 1 read, verb 2 wear, verb 1 be, verb 2 took, verb 1 take, verb 2 could, verb 1 can, verb 2 was, verb 1 be, verb 2 did not, verb 1 do not, verb 2 said, verb 1 say, verb 2 called, verb 1 call, verb 2 like, verb 1 like, verb 2 hate, verb 1 hate, verb 2 can, verb 1 come, verb 2 told, verb 1 tell, verb 2 heard, verb 1 heard, verb 2 held without, verb 1 hold without, verb 2 would, verb 1 will, verb 2 learned, verb 1 learned, verb 2 went, 1 go, verb 2 want, verb 1 won't.
Okay, now I will explain about adverbs in the text that we analyzed. Previously, adverb had meaning like a word that it's used to change, modify, or qualify several types of word, including an adjective, a verb, a clause, another adverb, or any other types of word or phrase, with the exception of determiners and adjective that directly modify noun. Dari bagian struktur yang telah kami analisis dari teks yang ada di bagian awal, di sini terdapat juga beberapa adverb pada bagian-bagian struktur tersebut, seperti yang ada pada orientation yang bisa kita lihat pada layar. Di sini ada 3 adverb, yaitu ada each day, each morning, dan juga ada to. Dan di bagian event di sini ada mempunyai 4 adverb, bisa kita lihat juga pada layar. Ada each day, one morning, that day, dan juga ada next day. Dan pada bagian yang terakhir atau bagian reorientation, di sini mempunyai 1 adverb saja, yaitu ada next day. Nah, adverb sendiri mempunyai beberapa tipe. Seperti yang bisa kita lihat pada layar, ada adverb of degree, ada adverb of frequency, dan juga ada adverb of time. Nah, di sini saya akan menjelaskan sedikit tentang pengertian dari tipe-tipe adverb yang ada pada layar. Yang pertama ada adverb of degree, yaitu the modifying words very and extremely are themselves adverbs. They are called degree adverbs because they specify the degree to which an adjective or another adverb applies. Degree adverbs include almost, barely, entirely, highly, quite, slightly, totally, and otherly. Oke, yang kedua ada adverb of frequency. Pengertiannya yaitu an adverb of frequency describe how often an action happens. There are 6 main adverb of frequency that we use in English: always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. Oke, yang terakhir yang ada pada layar yaitu ada adverb of time. Pengertian dari adverb of time itu sendiri yaitu adverb of time change or add meaning to a sentence by telling us when, for how long, and how often a certain action happen. They have a standard position in a sentence depending on what that adverb is telling us. Oke, bisa kita lihat juga pada layar di sini dari teks yang telah kami analisis tersebut ada beberapa adverb yang masuk ke dalam tipe-tipe yang telah saya sebutkan tadi, yaitu ada adverb of degree, yaitu ada to yang terdapat pada bagian orientation tadi, dan juga ada adverb of frequency, yaitu each day, each morning, dan juga yang terakhir ada adverb of time, yaitu one morning, next day, dan yang terakhir ada that day. Sekian penjelasan tentang adverb yang ada pada teks yang telah kami analisis. Terima kasih.
Hello everyone, my name is Zahra Romaisha. You can call me Zahra, and now I will continue the presentation. Now we talk about conjunction. What is conjunction? A conjunction is a part of speech that is used to connect words, phrase, clause, or sentence. Conjunction are considered to be invariable grammar practice, and they may or may not stand between items they conjoin. First, ada orientation text. Di orientation text ini kita hanya memiliki satu konjungsi, yaitu but. But there was one big problem in 3rd grade. But di sini merupakan suatu konjungsi. Next, we have event text. Di sini kita juga cuma memiliki satu konjungsi, yaitu then. Then one morning, Miss Harold come into the classroom. Then di sini merupakan suatu konjungsi.
Hello, my name is Yanokvita and I will continue the presentation. First of all, what is an action verb? Action verb is verb that shows or activity of the subject. It's action. And we have text of orientation. There's a lot of action verb. There are reading, read, plays, acting, and work. First, they did reading each morning. Reading is action verb. They read great stories out of their reading books. Read is action verb. Some of them were plays. Plays is action verb. And they all took turns acting out the story. And the acting is action verb. Less of text orientation is work. They could work in their workbooks. Work is action verbs. We have 4 action verbs in text orientation. And then we have text of event. Action verb in this text is spend, studying, said, called out, learning, came, holding, told, recording, holding, held, told again, and record. Gerald did want to spend time each day studying the multiplication facts. They said multiplication facts in class. Spend said studying as action verb. We have action verbs with underline and red color often. And we can put action verb after subject. And last, we have text of orientation. Gerald went home and learned each and every fact. The subject is Gerald, and action verb is went and learn. And he wants to make sure he could answer each one the next day. Answer is the action verb. And subject is he. He is Gerald.
Okay, the last language feature in this recount text is adjectives. There are many adjectives in this recount text, and we found 4 in the first structure. First of all, the orientation we found in the second sentence. There is the best, and then the fifth sentence there are word great, and then the 8th sentence we found fun, and the last in the 9th sentence we found pick. In the next structure, events, we just found 1 adjectives in here. The word is fun. And the last, in the reorientations, we found 2 adjectives at the last sentence. Multiplications was great fun. Great fun in here are adjectives too. Sorry for all the mistakes that made by us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, we're from Group 4 and today we are going to talk about recount text. First, we have to talk about the definition of the recount text. So, a recount text is a type of text that contains stories about our experiences in the past. So, for instance, if you write a story about your holiday last year, that counts as a recount text. And next, the purpose of a recount text. The purpose of a recount text is usually to retell and provide information and entertain the reader. Next, the structure of a recount text. First, we have the orientation. So at the beginning, we introduce and provide information to the readers so that they can understand the whole story that we write. Next is the sequence of events. In this section, we tell something that happened in the past according to a series of events. To show a sequence of events, we can use time markers such as on the first day, when, on the next day, on the last day, on Sunday morning, and so on. Last but not least, we have the reorientation. This section can be said as the conclusion or the end of the experience goal. We can also add impressions from the story written, such as pleasant or unpleasant experiences.
The text we want to analyze is about Anna's day. It was a Thursday morning in April. Anna got up early. She was going to wear her lucky blue skirt to school. She really liked that skirt. She had a new shirt to match it, and new shoes too. After Anna got dressed, she went into the kitchen, where she could smell bacon. Anna's father was making bacon and toast. Anna loved bacon in the morning. Anna's mother was getting ready for work. Anna's mother is a teacher at Anna's school. Anna is in the second grade, and her mother teaches fourth grade. Anna was excited about going to school. Her class was going to take a test to see how much they had learned so far that year. Anna couldn't wait to get to school. Anna sharpened her new pencils for the test. She was going to do her very best on the test. Anna loved school, and she liked to make good grades. Anna ate her breakfast, and then she and her mother went to the school. Anna went straight to her classroom. Her teacher, Miss Browner, was already there. It was fun to be in Miss Browner's class. She was a great teacher. Anna's classmate arrived. Miss Browner called the roll, and then they started the test. Anna tried to remember all the things her teacher had taught her that year, and tried very hard to do everything right on the test. The test took over an hour. After the test was over, the class played outside for a long time. Then they ate lunch. After lunch, they watched a funny movie and they drew pictures until it was time to go home. It was a great day. The next is orientation. The orientation part is from it was Tuesday morning in April to her class was going to take a test to see how much they had learned so far that year. After that is 5 W's. The first one is who. Who is the character of this text? It is Anna. Then when. When did it happen? A Tuesday morning in April. After that, where. Where did it happen? At her school. Next one is what. What happened? Her class was going to take the final test. The last is why. Why did it happen? To see how much they had learned so far that year.
Oke, selanjutnya ada sequence of event. And of event di section ini kita menjelaskan apa yang terjadi dengan menunjukkan urutan dari cerita. Nah, we can use on the first day, when, the next day, on our last day, on Sunday morning, and so on. Nah, kalau dalam cerita ini terdapat bagian seperti then, ya kan? Seperti di bagian akhir, then they ate lunch. After lunch, they watch a funny movie and then drew pictures until it was time to go home. Jadi ini berguna untuk menjelaskan urutan cerita, kayak kita tahu ini tuh setelah ini, atau ini mungkin yang pertama, itu setelahnya ini. Nah, selanjutnya dari orientation itu kita memberikan kesimpulan dari cerita ini, dan menuliskan juga experience. Kita bisa menambahkan impression from the stories yang ditulis, dan juga kita dapat menuliskan itu pengalaman yang baik atau bukan. Jadi kita dapat menunjukkan dari reorientation ini itu merupakan bad ending atau happy ending. Nah, seperti dalam cerita ini terdapat kalimat it was a good day di akhirnya, yang dapat kita simpulkan bahwa the ending was a happy ending.
Past tense. The past tense is a verb tense used for a past activity or a past state of being. There are some tenses in this text that contain past tense. For example, there are was. It was a Tuesday morning in April. Got. Anna got up early. Liked. She really liked that skirt. Had. She had a new shirt to match it. Went. She went into the kitchen. Could. Where she could smell bacon. Laughed. Anna loved bacon in the morning. Sharpened. Anna sharpened her new pencils for the test. Ate. Anna ate her breakfast. Arrived. Anna's classmates arrived. Started. And then they started the test. Tried. Anna tried to remember all the things her teacher had taught her that year. Taught. Anna tried to remember all the things her teacher had taught her that year. Took. The test took over an hour. Played. The class played outside for a long time. Watched. After lunch, they watched a funny movie. Drew. After lunch, they watched a funny movie and then drew pictures until it was time to go home. The verb one of was is. The verb one of got is get. The verb one of liked is like. The verb one of had is have. The verb one of went is go. The verb one of could is can. The verb one of loved is love. The verb one of sharpened is sharpen. The verb one of ate is eat. The verb one of arrived is arrive. The verb one of started is start. The verb one of tried is try. The verb one of taught is teach. The verb one of took is take. The verb one of played is play. The verb one of watch is watch. The verb one of drew is draw.
Temporal sequences. After Anna got dressed, she went into the kitchen, where she could smell bacon. Anna ate her breakfast, and then she and her mother went to the school. After the test was over, the class played outside for a long time. Then they ate lunch. After lunch, they watched a funny movie and then drew a picture until it was time to go home.
Action clause. Anna got up early. She went into the kitchen. Anna's father was making bacon and toast. Anna's mother was getting ready for work. Anna was excited about going to school. Anna sharpened her new pencil for the test. Anna ate her breakfast and then she and her mother went to school. Anna went straight to her classroom. Mr. Browner called a roll and then started the test. Anna tired and remembered all the things their teacher had taught her that year, and tried very hard to do everything right on the test. After the test was over, the class played outside for a long time. Then they ate lunch. After lunch, then watched funny movie, and then draw picture until it was.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to this presentation. It's great to see you all. Let me introduce myself and my partner here. My name is Dewi Ayu Prastiwi from Statistik 2021 and my partner.
My name is Alifa Husnul Anissa from Statistik 2021.
My name is Umun Zahra Nirmala from Statistik 2021.
My name is Mafa Octavia from Statistik 2021.
I am Muhammad Rifai from Statistik 2021.
My name is Mutiara Ilhami Kalbu. I'm from Statistik 2021.
My name is Rahma Agus Mutia from 2000 and Static 2021.
Okay, and we are from Group 5 EAP class. Okay, in this presentation, we will discuss about the analyze from recount text. And first, I will explain to you about the purpose of recount text. Recount texts are written to retell events for the purpose of either informing or entertaining their audience. In a simple word, the purpose of recount text is to retell past experience. Okay, for the next will be explained by my partner.
Thank you, Dewi. I will explain about generic structures of recount text. The first, orientation. Orientation is who was involved, what happened, where the event took place, and when it happened. And the second is event. Event is what happened on chronological sequence. And the last of generic structure is reorientation. Reorientation is optional, closure of events or endings. Next slide. On the next slide, I will explain about language features of recount text. Recount text is using temporal sequence, example on Monday, on Tuesday, at 7 a.m., etc. Next, past tense. Simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past continuous tense. And next, time connectors. Example, since, last, just, then, and etc. Recount text is using focus on specific participant. Example, I, the writer, Anna, my mother, and etc. Next, action verb, example when, at, stay, etc. And the last, conjunction, example then, next, after that, etc. For the next will be explained by my partner, Ambun.
Okay, thank you, Alifa. I will continue the explanation. This is the text we analyze. The first and second paragraph are orientation. Third to fifth paragraph are the body, and sixth to last paragraph are reorientation. Next slide. Orientation includes who, when, where, what, and why. Number 1, who. Who in this text is the writer. Number 2, when. When this incident occurred. This incident occurred when the writer was 16 years old. Number 3, where. Where this incident occurred. This incident occurred in Boston, United States. Number 4, what happened. For the first time, the writer left his home. And number 5, why did that happen? Because the writer went to Boston to live with an American family for only 2 months. On orientation, we can find some example of simple past tense. There are I left home, I took, I felt, and I went all the same. For the next will be explained by my partner Mafa.
The second generic structure of the recount text is event. It contains language features or simple past tense and temporal sequence. Simple past tense use verb to, for example, to start with, I missed the train from New York
2 past tense. Missed is verb 2 and the verb 1 is miss. Another example is lost, felt, spoke, started, began. An example of a temporal conjunction is to start with. Next. The last generic structure of the recount text is reorientation. It contains language features or simple past tense, past continuous tense, emotions at the end, and temporal sequence. Simple past tense, there is the word became, which shows the past verb, and the verb one of became is become. Past continuous tense, for example, the shops were interesting. Emotions at the end, nice, enjoyable, and unforgettable. Temporal sequence at lunchtime and at 6 p.m. For the next will be explained by my partner Rifai.
Okay, thank you, Mapa. In the next, I will explain about using action verb. An action verb is a verb that describes an action, like run, jump, kick, eat, break, try, smell, and think. Explain of action verb in the story are: the first, I went to the United States. Second, I was a student then, and that was the first time I left home. Third, when I arrived at the family house. Fourth, I lost my voice, so nervous I felt. And then I started to speak a little, and the people in the house began to understand me. For the next, will explain my friend Mutiara.
Now I will explain about using time connectors. Time connectors are words that join phrases or sentences together to help us understand when something is happening. Words such as when, before, after, next, just then, shortly afterwards, last, eventually, since, as long as, by the time, etc. Examples of the time connectors in the story are: first, when I was 16 years old, I went to the United States. For the second, fortunately, after 1 week, I felt more confident. I started to speak a little, and the people in the house began to understand me. For the next slide, we'll explain by my partner.
Thank you, Mutiara. I will explain about report text using conjunction. Conjunction number 1 is coordinating conjunction. The function is coordinating conjunction to words, connecting words, phrases, or clauses that have an equal structure, like a noun with a noun, an adjective with an adjective. Generally, the conjunction was in the middle of the sentence, but it did not eliminate the possibility of putting it at the beginning of the sentence as transition to the next one. For example, from the text, one and that is found in the sentence, I was a student then and that was the first time I left home. Number 2, for that is found in the sentence, I went to Boston to live with an American family for 2 months. Number 3, but that is found in the sentence, how scared I felt, but I went all the same. Conjunction number 2 is subordinating conjunction, and the function is conjunction that has a function connecting two things that are not equal. Conjunction, this connect between main clause and the subclause. For example, from the text, 1. Although conjunction of opposition that is found in the sentence that was trouble, although the family was there to greet me. Number 2. After 1 week, conjunction of time that is found in the sentence. Fortunately, after 1 week, I felt more confident. Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.